and hello and welcome to the Tequila Hour. What? An intro. Mate, I was just listening to some, sick beats on Epidemic Sounds and, mate, what a cracker. Anyway, hi, this is the Tequila Hour. My name is Amanda. It is 2:34 p.m. on the 8th of September. I can't believe it, 2024. My name is Amanda. I think I already said that. It's been 2 weeks. I'm in Australia, in New South Wales, in the secret location. And why do I keep pressing that? I need to stop pressing that smash pad, don't I? Actually, you know what I need to do is get rid of it in its entirety. Because you know what? It needs to go. It needs to go. I know no one gives a shit, but it needs to go. Anyway, look, 2 weeks I didn't do a podcast, and I'm going to be completely transparent, honest, no bullshit. I really didn't want to do a podcast today. And you know what? That actually made me think maybe that's the reason why you should do one. Okay. And I'm actually going to get straight into it. So before we do that, grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink. If you're having a drink, I'll just let you know today I'm actually not drinking. I'm drinking, but not drinking alcohol is what I'm trying to get at. And I'm drinking a peach, is it iced tea, Monster? So yeah, if you want to relax and hear the Celtic tones of my voice into the Rode microphone, then yeah, grab some supplies and chillax and listen to me today. Like I said, I'm just going to cut the shit. I'm just going to spew forth whatever comes to mind because, yeah, I'm in one of those moods and honestly, I need your help and I need my own help. And really, this is one of the main premises of this podcast, which I've probably touched on a million times now for those who are playing along and have listened to this podcast for 2 years. I can't believe it's been 2 years. I'm pretty sure it has. I don't know now. No, that's, yeah, like I said, honest truth bomb, I really didn't want to do this podcast today. I was nearly going to post something on Instagram on the Tequila Hour page basically saying that I was having a break for a month. And then I was like, why am I doing that? Why am I doing that? And without looking at my last podcast episode, which I could do instead of just talking out of my ass, which I have a tendency to do, that, there goes a car, that I have been, if you haven't worked it out yet, and you should all know by now, that self-development and learning more about myself and who I want to be and where I want to go in my life is very important to me. And it is something that probably as long as this podcast has been going, that something that has been a challenging experience for me on many levels. And I sit here honestly today in a very strange frame of mind, and I want to explore that with you because the last time I believe I spoke, or did I speak about this? Now I don't know. I spoke about a book about surrender or surrendering. I will have a look at my podcast and link it in the description so you don't think I'm just babbling now, which sounds like I am. But yes, I read a book about letting go, basically, and it is by Michael B. Singer. I think that's the name of the author. If it's The Untethered Soul, it's all coming back to me now. The Untethered Soul. And I read that and it really did struck a chord within me in regards to letting go of some of the bullshit that I just seem to be holding on to for some, I don't know, I'm thinking I can't even say the word, but misogynist reason? Is that a right word I could use in this context? Basically punishing myself for no reason is what I'm trying to get at. And like I have said as well, probably numerous times now to nauseum, that, yeah, there's just so much shit that's been in my mind and I need to let go. And there was some real interesting, I was going to say paragraphs, but no, not even that. Well, there was interesting paragraphs, but as I read the book and at the end and really thought about, you know, a spiritual journey or your journey or what you want that to look like, and just letting go of some of those really deep resentments that you have in your mind, I'm here today really perplexed and again lost in my own bullshit, really at the point where on one hand I made a conscious choice to go, you know, I'm letting go of all this shit and not feel guilt or feel shame or feel like a piece of shit for doing A, B and C, because A, B, C was the choice that I made. And the other side of that being that to have self-worth, to say to myself that I should come first. And these are topics that I've talked about before in the past, but after reading that book, it really highlighted the fact that even though I've been saying it on and off for 2 years or longer throughout my life, it really, truly, as I sit here today, I have to wonder if any of it has sunken in. And I know it has, because I do often, not to this depth, but I do have conversations with my husband around my mind shift in regards to certain things. May that be in regards to my work, may that be in regards to how I manage my stress and manage my time. But again, I feel like I'm stumbling like a fool on a topic where, when I talk about putting yourself first and drowning out the noise of bullshit and people, and struggling with and this is hard too, because I don't want to, I'm being very, again, I have to be very mindful of what I'm saying and what I'm not saying, but I'm happy to talk about the topic, but not happy to refer that to any particular person, even though I'm being very transparent. Weird. No, yeah, it is what it is. I am, and I have mentioned, I'm not going to, you know, blabber on too much in regards to work or people or any of that kind of stuff. Outside of work, that's a different story, but it's the themes of really coming to the terms for myself that I really need to put myself first, and I should know and do know kind of what that looks like. And yet I sit here today struggling to find the words to describe how I am managing that, because I'm not. And even though, like, oh, that was my stomach, if you heard that in the background. I heard this really loud noise. Yeah, if you are on a quest, let's call it that, a quest very similar to mine in your life, and you feel the switch, okay, when you're changing thoughts and thought processes that have been embedded in your psyche for so long, and then to go, no, this is the way I want you to think, and this is how I want you to react or not react, and this is a greater path for you, not that path. In all, I don't know, I was going to say righteousness. I don't know why that's the word that comes to mind. You would logically think that your mind would go, yeah, you know what, this is kind of hard, but, you know, I'm glad to see that you've got up to speed and got your shit together and having a crack. Guess what? No, that's not the case. And I think that's what I've been dealing with for the last couple of days. I think it's because, I've been feeling a little bit off physically in my stomach. I don't know if that's, and I actually think it is more that I am feeling a little bit off. It could be because I'm making myself feel a bit off as well, not on purpose, but it's stress basically. And it's also the fact that it's about the subject we have touched on about being so hard on myself that I get lost in the weeds of shit. And I'm really at a point today that I want to talk about it because, like I said a couple of minutes ago, I really didn't want to do this podcast today. And like I said, I was going to say I have a break. And I'm like, why am I doing that when this podcast truly does bring me so much joy and insight and, an opportunity to talk about some of the most important, exciting things that are exciting to me in regards to makeup and beauty and skincare and perfume and all those kind of good things, in regards to topics that intrigue me, like quantum physics, or weird shit like astral planing. But it's just now where I really, after reading that book and having a real moment, and I cried many times after reading that, during reading that book and after, that I said to myself, really, the one thing you need to do is you really do need to let go, even though I thought I had, of certain things. And by doing that, you will find a greater level of, not even control, but a greater sense of self and who you are at your very core and what you believe, and to stay strong and true in that, and to then go, well, if someone's doing this or someone's not doing that, that it really doesn't matter, because in the end, it really only matters about what you care about. And this, as I'm saying it out loud, seems quite logical. Seems quite, probable. And yet it's really in this last week where I've been pushing, and it could be that there is a level of stress which could be complicating my thought processes around this, and probably, as I say it out loud, does contribute to my feeling at the moment, or thoughts. And this is the thing, I think I'm letting my thoughts and feelings runneth over, and perhaps even letting them control me and not even caring, maybe. And I'm making changes, and they are changes for the good, and yet I'm finding them to be so difficult. It's like I know the right thing to do is this, and yet it feels so hard. And see, I told you I should have done this podcast today. No, yes, it does. It feels really hard. I don't know why it feels so hard to take care of myself, to not give a shit about what other people think, to not get so absorbed by an interaction or lack of. And yet I truly feel like today is a little bit of, I was going to say deja vu, but it's not deja vu. Deja vu? Is that how you say it? You know what I'm saying? God damn you. It's not that. It's just that sense of like, I'm pretty sure I've had this thought before and been at this same place and had the same feelings and thoughts. I'll spit it out and say my words properly. And truly tired of then coming to the same conclusion over and over again, to be honest. And it was over the weekend where there's a couple of things that I've done which I'm happy to talk about and probably will share with you moving forward because I'm very interested to see how they go. And yeah, there's a couple of topics as well apart from this topic that seems to be, I know, the spur in my foot, the pain in my side, the knife in my back or in my heart. I know this sounds very dramatic, but when if you feel this way, again, we all feel this way. A lot of us do. I mean, some people don't. I know that. But if you feel the way that I feel about things and if these kind of, this topic of conversation resonates with you, I'd love to know really how you cope with all this shit. It's really where I'm not giving up because that's not the purpose of this conversation today, but it's more around trying to figure out why I keep repeating a pattern. Yeah, that's what it is. Why do I keep repeating this particular pattern? And why am I finding it so fucking hard when it should be something that I would truly think and feel as something being the best thing I could ever do? And that's in regards to, putting myself first and really taking care of myself, because there is a level of that in regards to my quest. And yet this repeated pattern of getting to a certain point, and then you could talk about self-sabotaging oneself by eating too much or drowning out your thoughts with alcohol or, and that probably leads to having an addictive personality on top of all of that. But it's just, I'm struggling with that little click, and it's the click which I know that is the best path for me, yet I honestly sit here today feeling sad and depressed, and not deeply depressed. I'm not like the breakfast. No, not deeply depressed, just forlorn. There you go. There's a word that's come out of my ass. There you go. Forlorn. I do. I feel forlorn. I just don't feel right. Like I said, I feel a bit off physically, and that's contributing, but it's just that mindset and that headspace where I'm like, fuck me, fuck you, fuck off, get fucked. Why am I doing this again and again and again and again, and feel like I'm at this spot again trying to work out why I can't feel encouraged by my own sense and strength of going, you know what, you want to do A, B and C. This is what you truly want. You know that's what you want. Rejoice in that. Do the steps you need to do to get there and own your shit. And yet I struggle with people pleasing, and I struggle with not putting myself first physically, and I struggle with self-sabotage, and yeah, that's what I'm saying. These are topics again and again and again I seem to be repeating, and you know what? I'm fucking over it and we got to do something about it. And that's why I'm doing a fucking podcast today. So if you haven't gone to sleep and turned off by now, welcome to the Tequila Hour. My name is Amanda. I am in Australia, in New South Wales, in the Forge, which has now come my work office. Maybe that's what's bringing me down a little bit, that my beauty / podcast area / now workspace is all become one and a sundry. That could be adding to my level of forlornness. No, I don't know, actually. It could be. I feel like an image just came to my mind then because I'm looking at some Palo Santo over there. Do I need to, you know what? Please hold. I'm just going to do something. Give me a second. Okay, so you're probably wondering, what did you just do? Or you mightn't be. You mightn't give a shit. What did I do? As I sit here at my desk, which is now a multi-purpose desk for my podcast and my work, apparently. Allegedly, it is. I looked over and I have 2 sticks of Palo Santo. If you don't know what that is, I can add it to the description box. But I'm just going to, in the background, I'm going to light one of these motherfucking sticks. I'm going to blow it, yep, and I'm just going to cleanse this shit. I'm going to cleanse this shit at the moment, just so, because this is just audio. So just for those who are playing along and want to know, I'm burning a little, it's just like I don't know, literally a finger-sized stick of wood that I've just lit at the end with my trusty Bic lighter. Do that again if you can hear that in the background. Wait, look. And then, yep, I'm cleansing this shit. I'm cleansing this microphone. I'm cleansing me. Yep. Doing it all. Take a deep breath with me. That's nice. Whoever thought to do that, I probably need to work the origins of that out. But anyway, so, yeah. Get all spiritual and shit. No. Yeah, just cleanse that shit. You know what? It needs to stop. I need to get out of my mood and I need to talk about some of those things that I'm putting into place and just crack in and carry on. What can we talk about first? Number one, I'm starting to own my shit a bit at work. Okay, I'm not going to talk about too much, but when I say that I'm now in a place where I'm starting to own that shit and be confident in what my shit is, yeah, we're getting there. The back of that, though, is that by the time I'm done and dusted and I come home and try to then, realign my chi, for the use of a better word, that I'm struggling with that. I'm struggling with night and day, shall we say. Let's call it night and day. I'm struggling with the day, and when I get to night, there is no room left. Now, that needs to change, and I'm doing my best to do that, and that's something that I still, after 2 motherfucking years, I'm struggling with, but I am a lot better. So there is some things that I'm going to be doing, and I have started, as in, let's talk about it, shall we? I know I'm being so ambiguous. Number one, and I've talked about this before, and this is why I sit here today, I made a decision, I think, last week or the week before, to really cut back on my weekend drinking, to cut back on just having a drink for the sake of drinking or trying to relax. And I know I've touched on this topic before. I don't know how much I've actually touched on the topic of addiction, and I'm happy to talk about that today. Maybe that's, I don't know, really might be a purpose of this podcast today, to talk about that. I'm not quite sure if I really want to talk about that yet, in its whole entirety, that is. I don't even know if I actually have touched on this in its entirety. I know I've kind of touched on it. Pretty sure I have. Maybe I should listen to the catalogue of my podcast because I know I have talked about it in the past. Anyway, there's that. So last weekend, instead of buying, a whole bottle and just having a couple of drinks over the weekend and, finishing off a tequila on the Saturday and Sunday, I mindfully decided to then, just grab some cans, because then once you've drunk, a 4-pack of, double Smirnoff Black, you're done. And this weekend I did a similar thing in the sense I bought some, I think it was, I don't know what it was, tequila, mojito in a can. And then yesterday I bought some, what do you call it? I was going to say spicy lemon. It's not that. Hard cider. And yes, I bought some hard cider on the Friday, and then on the Saturday, yesterday, I bought some, what do you call it, ginger ale, hard ginger ale, alcoholic. Now, when I say to you I've been feeling off all week, and really I was kind of like, I'll have a couple of drinks and that will make me feel better. No. Did it exacerbate my feelings of unwellness? Probably did. And I sit here today without having a drink because, it's not working. It's either you have a drink or you don't. I don't know why I'm struggling with making a mindful decision not to drink at all. And I was about to convince myself that I don't have an issue. I don't know. My issue is that for me, having a drink on the weekend, and I think I've touched on this in the past, it's about relaxing and having that mind, that switch in your mind. You're like, I'm having a drink and now I can relax mentally and physically. The other thing being that, I know this, again, can happen quite quickly as well if I get to a certain level of stress where, you'll have a drink Saturday and Sunday and you feel like shit on Monday, because the alcohol then becomes, a place where instead of feeling the things you need to feel and process them and let them go, and this is probably where I need to get to, where I'm trying to get to today, that, it's easy to have a couple of drinks and not think about it. Because, to be honest, how much shit can you think? Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing. Then you've got to come up with other coping mechanisms to get you through your shit. So for me, I've talked about meditation, which I need to just fucking do it. But I know the benefits that I have from meditating every day. I don't know why I feel like I can get away with not doing it, to be honest, because I know when I do, I feel so much better for it. So that's one thing. But it really, after this weekend, and I had, like I said, I only had a couple of drinks yesterday. Last night, I won't go in depth, but I will tell you, I was sitting somewhere and I'm like, fuck, I feel like fucking shit. Feel like shit. And why am I continually doing this to myself? Now, I didn't get drunk. I only had like 3 cans, but I just feel like shit. It's like my body's like, you know what, Amanda? Fuck you. We've had enough. It's really like in my body, I'm just lighting up the Palo Santo. I don't know what kind of accent that was. I really don't know why I'm struggling with this whole not using alcohol. I could talk about addiction, based off the fact that I watched if you're into beauty, okay, let's go there, shall we? If you're into beauty, you would know who Tati Westbrook is. Apparently her name is not Tati at all, which I knew, or Tatiana. It's actually Tonya. Anyway, that's another story. The story being, though, is that she had a podcast interview with Michelle Phan, who I know the name, but I've never watched her channel. I know of her. And in that video, Tonya, Tati, talked about addiction, and she actually just out of nowhere basically stated that she didn't drink alcohol. She had an issue with alcohol. It sounded like she also had an issue with drugs in the past. She's been in rehab. She had experienced that. She had experienced relapses, which she discussed in an additional video on her own channel as well. And she was very truthful and honest, and basically said she can't drink. She doesn't drink, and the reason being is that she can't control her drinking. Now, would I say, and as I'm saying it, I was going to say, am I saying I'm Tati? I can't control my drinking? No. Yet I would say to you that the fact that I'm struggling just to say that I will stop drinking and the thought that I'll never have a drink again, it fills me with it's very complex feelings that I'm having around that. And I don't know if it's because I do acknowledge that I've had an issue with addiction in the past, and it wasn't alcohol. And it was a very, very long time ago, and I've never had an issue with that particular substance again after going to rehab myself. Yet, and this is, I will talk about it, not probably today, I'll just touch on it today. But this is something like 20 years ago. I don't know, I could calculate it in my mind, maybe. Yeah, it's probably 20, probably close to 20 years ago. This is it 50, 40? Yeah, it would be close to 20 years ago in reference to rehab and all that. And yeah, I sit here today and I struggle with saying to myself I don't have an issue with alcohol. I don't think I do. I think I just have an issue with the fact that I know I have an addictive personality, and if I don't have one thing as a crux, I need something else as a crux. Now, that might be where, for me, probably the greatest crux at the moment, separate from alcohol, would be food. And the fact that I don't eat that much, but I don't feel like I do. But I do know that, if I'm having a bad day or I'm struggling, I'll reach for food as comfort. It's a comfort thing, I'm not going to lie. So for me, I'm now at the point where, okay, cool, I've identified that, which I have for a long time, look, alcohol probably is not my best friend. And perhaps you should just leave that for special occasions and leave it at that. And even then, maybe you shouldn't even do that at all. Re-examining my relationship with food. And I will talk about something in a second that really just probably, that's why I'm feeling a little bit sad. It just brought something to my, reality very quickly, and which is probably a good thing, but at the same time, I'm struggling with. And it all comes back to that self-struggle where, the things that are bad for you or not so good for you, the things that you could be doing better if you are on a quest like myself and you really want to be the best version of yourself. And I know that for me, and I've touched on this before, it's not even a goal, it's going to happen, is I'm going to Japan next year. I'm going to Japan in November next year, and I know not only there's the financial and all that kind of stuff, which is something else that I need to clearly work on, that it's about my physical self. So for me, I'm overweight, and, I used to go to the gym regularly and I was active, and I clearly can, hand on heart now, say I'm truly overweight. I don't exercise. I feel uncomfortable in myself. And it's not even a vanity thing. I mean, obviously there is a component of that when you feel a certain level of attractiveness within yourself, but it's just the physical sense of getting up and moving around and how you feel at the end of the day, or going for a long walk and feeling sore and sorry for yourself. And I don't want to feel that when I go to Japan. I want to be able to move around and walk all day without being completely exhausted. So, yeah, that's one thing. And I think it's where, because it's all these things that I am aware of and I'm wanting to change, and at the same time finding excuses not to do them or do the work to want to change when it comes to myself. This is what it leads to. So I know I need to do exercise, okay? I know I need to eat better. I know I need help around that. I need probably to go have regular massages because I'm someone who absorbs my stress. I probably need to see a chiropractor. I probably need to see my general practitioner because I haven't been to one for a while. So I will talk about some of the steps that I've done over the weekend, and then I will check in with you next week because I just need to start making myself accountable for what I want to do instead of just being distracted by having a drink or working too long at work or over exceeding at work. Because I'll be truly honest with you, I don't think work is a crux. I don't think that's what it is. I think it's just, again, that shift where I'm putting too much of myself into a place that is not going to give me what I really need in return. And to then go, okay, well, to find that place, which is yourself, to get the return, fucking can't do it. I'm struggling with that. I'm struggling with putting the highlight of my self journey and quest onto myself. I don't know how else to, I really don't know how else to describe it. And yeah, it's really got to me in this last week. And it's really got to me in the last couple of days. And I think from Thursday, I was just felt flat and, like I said, forlorn is the word that comes to mind. Sad and confused in a way that I felt like I was in the same place, and I feel like I get to this same place over and over and over again. And it's just that wall that I can't seem to break through, or I break through it for a certain period of time and give up. And I'm wondering why that, someone says to me, you do this, all right? And mate, I'll go to the ends of the earth to do it for you. And yet I can't go to the ends of the earth for myself. And I want to know what that is that's not allowing myself to do that. And that is what I'm trying to work out. And it's doing my head in, mate. It really is doing my fucking head in. I'm getting angry. Maybe I need to get angry instead of being sad and forlorn. Yeah, it's just I'm getting angry at myself because I know this is what I want. These are some of the things I want in my life. I want to feel comfortable, and I want to look a certain way and feel a certain way, to have feel a greater sense of life and enjoy myself. And yet I keep fucking it up and then say to myself, I don't know, maybe I think I don't deserve it. I don't know. When it comes to self-worth, maybe I just don't think I deserve it. And I don't know truly why I don't think I deserve it. I really don't. I really don't understand. And I would say to you probably pretty much a lot of this probably stems to my childhood and the shit that I went through. And again, though, this is shit that's happened in the past. So I really don't know why I'm allowing my inner monologue to go to a place that doesn't exist anymore and hold on to ideals that really don't serve me anymore. And yeah, it's kind of like if you could just like this, a switch and you close your eyes and open them again and bam, it's not happening. And I don't know why it's not happening. And maybe it's just happening, but it's just not happening fast enough. And this is the thing, I know it's changing. I know I am changing. My husband, again, he tells me multiple times how much I've changed in the last 2 years for the better, in the sense of my stress and how I manage myself and how my thoughts and feelings and how I manage all that. And that encourages me because it's, you can think you know what's happening, but it's not through the reflection of someone else that can give you some guidance of what they see, not what you just see. So there's that. That's encouraging. So what did I do on the weekend? So the first thing I did is I looked at some information around weight loss. And I'll be honest with you, I think 2 years ago, I started the podcast and I just had, I think my first, and I know it is, the first podcast I ever did was around a fitness challenge that I did because I wanted to go over what that was like and my thoughts and feelings, like a review basically of that process. Now, at that time, I think I lost, I don't know, maybe around 6 or 8 kilos. I mean, I still had a lot of weight to lose, I'll be honest with you, but I was feeling pretty good. And may that be that my diet was pretty good. I wasn't drinking. See, I've just answered my own question. One of my questions. I wasn't drinking for the 12 weeks. No drinking, and yeah, my diet was a lot tighter and I was going to the gym and all of that. So it just through everything else has just slowly melted away to the place where I sit today, where I don't go to the gym at all. I eat reasonably well, but clearly I need to eat better. And so, yeah, I looked at certain sites in regards to weight loss. I mean, we might make that a whole podcast basically. But what I did is I signed up for Moshi. I don't know if you're in Australia, you might recognise the name as in MOSHY. And basically it's a service where you go online and you fill out a questionnaire, and it's linked to doctors and dietitians and other allied health professionals. And they basically, analyse your answers to the questions that they had prescribed, and they come up with what they believe is a suitable plan for you. So the suitable plan being for me that I will go onto this plan. The plan itself includes medication. Like I said, I'm not going to discuss this in its entirety today because I think it warrants a whole podcast on its own and a journey around that. So that's something I will be doing. So I did that. So that will commence as of next week. I will tell you that the plan was expensive. And when I say that, I'm talking $500 per month it will be. And when I say to you that straight away I'm like, oh, do I want to do this? And then you know what? How much is your life worth? How much are you worth? How much does it cost? What is your cost? What are you willing to accept to not change something? So there's that. So I will next week do a dedicated podcast around that. I will start that subscription next week. And yeah, I'll talk about that more in depth next week. I also made an appointment for a GP because, like I said, I haven't seen one for a long time. I need to get blood done. I need to check my hormone levels. I need to check iron and all that kind of good shit. Probably all my levels, sugar, probably cholesterol, blood pressure. I would say to you that from being overweight and knowing that I was pre-diabetic in the past, I wouldn't be surprised if my sugar was too high, but I don't know. I'm surmising, so there's no point surmising on something I don't know. But I would say to you, though, that, yeah, because I have put on quite a bit of weight since that challenge as well. So I've put back on the weight that I lost and then some. And I really am feeling that at the moment. So, yeah, I'm going to see the GP, and I made an appointment in 2 weeks' time. That's the first time I could actually get a decent time to go. So I've done that. Sorry, I thought I heard a noise in the background. Ooh, no, spooky mode. No, I'll have a sip of my drink. Drink break. Yeah. Lucky I haven't given up Monster. I don't know if I'll ever will. I gotta have something, mate. Fuck. Anyway, distracted by the beautiful zero sugar Monster. Ultra Peach, you can get it. Yeah, so I made a GP appointment. Like I said, I filled out that questionnaire on Moshi. I will start that plan next week. I will fill you in. I also made an appointment for a mammogram, which I've done several times now and never followed through. So I don't know, again, why I haven't. I have really no excuse as to why I just haven't followed through, but I made an appointment for that, and that's in 2 weeks' time as well. So I'll be doing that because I am 51. I was going to say 52. I don't even know my age. I'm 51. Clearly need to have a mammogram. I've only had one in my life and it was probably 20 years ago. So I need to do that. I don't know why I haven't. I have no excuse. I really don't have anything to be afraid of because I don't know. What I do know is that I'm struggling to just choose my health first, clearly. So I'm doing that. So they're the two things. I mean, there's other things that clearly I do need to do. I need to stop saying clearly. There is other things that I need to do. May that be going to the dentist is another thing that I would need to do and pretty important to do as well. What else do I need to do? So I've made an appointment for the GP, made an appointment for the mammogram, set up the account for Moshi, start that next week. So the other thing I need to do is exercise and diet, okay? So I don't know how many times in the last month I've said to myself, I'm going to start having shakes at night, okay? Just have a shake. So my husband has been very strict on himself to reduce his calories. He's been having shakes, Optifast mixed with protein shakes, I believe, throughout the day, and then he just eats dinner. For me, I say I'm going to eat throughout the day and then have a shake for dinner. That hasn't happened. I keep saying it and it hasn't happened. I don't know why I can't commit to this. So that's something else. I need to rein it in with my diet and commit to something. And the other thing being is exercise. So I actually pay for a fitness passport. I have since I've worked at my current employer, which is 9 years. And I can tell you right now, I haven't been to the gym for, I'm trying to think of the last time, maybe 6 months ago. And I was just doing walking on the treadmill. I really love lifting weights. I don't know why I don't feel like doing it anymore. It might be because I physically feel shit. That's probably got a lot to do with it. But I would confidently say to you that, yeah, it's like I lost my mojo. I really did. I got over it. I lost my mojo because I was going every day at one point, going to the gym every day. I just lost my mojo. And to get that mojo back, which talks about looking after yourself first and foremost, I'm struggling. I really am. And yeah, that's another thing. I just have to stop and fucking make time for going to the gym, exercising, doing some sort of exercise. I don't know what that looks like. I'm even in that aspect making excuses like, I'll just start going for a walk every morning, or, I'll go for a walk in the afternoon, or I'll go for a bike ride or something. Because I said to my husband, we both have push bikes, and we have an exercise bike in our motherfucking back room. I'm still not using it. So this is the thing. These are the things where I'm just not committing. Okay, I'm just not committing to shit. And I'm starting to really get pissed at myself. And that's the thing. The more and more you keep having these conversations with yourself and then not following through for whatever that reason you've created is, it just then it stacks on itself. Do you know what I mean? So every bloody week that you don't commit to A, B, C to yourself, you then feel worse and worse and worse. And that's where I'm sitting here today. And I think it's just all come to a head basically, where it's that mindset. It's really that mindset of just looking after myself and why I feel like I don't have permission to do that, or why I don't think that's important as running a project. Do you know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I'm not committed to myself because I don't think I'm worth it. And I think that's part of it, clearly. Because when I say it, I do have that sense of that's where a lot of this is coming from, that I'm just not worth it. And I don't know why I feel that way. Like I said, I don't know if it's a childhood thing or it's even beyond my formative years, as they like to say, as a child, throughout even my young childhood into adulthood, maybe some of the things that I've gone through in my life and quite major things as well, and then have that sense of shame and guilt, and therefore that's why I don't feel like I can put myself – I'm sure all of that plays into this invisible string that somehow keeps pulling, and it's not pulling – it's pulling against me. It's not pulling and wrapping itself and loving me. It's pulling me in a direction that I don't need to be going into, and I just need to – and that's the other thing – which I'll touch on. One of my, and I know this, and maybe this is what I need to lean into more while I'm talking out loud, and you'll probably already fallen asleep. Imagine if you used me to fall asleep and then I suddenly laughed really loud and you'd be like, ah! What the fuck? No. Yes. One, I will say to you, and I know wholeheartedly, one of my greatest strengths is my determination. Someone said to me once, you're like a dog with a bone, which kind of was weird and kind of like maybe a little bit hurtful, but no, like they're right. If something, whatever it is, it's got me, fucking mate, fucking watch out. One of my greatest personality traits is my strength and determination. And yet I seem to not be able to focus that entirely on self. I'm doing it, I have done that, and I'm clearly doing that around my thoughts and my emotions, feelings, thoughts. But to then apply that to physical self, this is the crux, right? This is the crux. It's hard enough to apply that tenacity to your mind and how you think about things and your thought processes and your feelings and all that. Very difficult to change certain thought patterns and ways and process of doing things when you've done things a certain way for your entire life. That's one challenge. The challenge of health, okay, and maybe – not maybe, I mean, we all know we get bombarded incessantly with shit on social platforms and apps and TV and YouTube and all the rest about people, and this way is the right way and this is the right way. Take this, take that, do this, do that. And then when you get to a point where you know you've got to do just the minimum and you can't even do that. Do you know what I mean? You're struggling just to do that, the minimum. And like I said, I am so tenacious. I just don't know how or why I can't apply that tenacity when I know I have in the past. I mean, that fitness challenge is a very good example. And maybe I need to focus on that. Maybe I do need to focus on that, is because it was hard. It wasn't, and this is the thing, was it hard? It was kind of hard. I need to be more tenacious when it comes to my health. And I don't know why I can't apply that tenacity to that. Why I don't think my health is necessary or should be absolute, or that I should care about this body that really is carrying my self. Really, this is maybe how I need to approach this, because it's, yes, this is a shell. This is a body that, carries stuff. carries internal organs and shit. But all in all, yes, I'm not just my body. But if I don't have a healthy body, how am I going to have a healthy fucking mind? Do you know what I mean? I don't know why. Excuse me. I really don't know why I truly can't apply that tenacity to these things of exercise and food. I really don't. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. And I really just need to make a commitment. Do you know what I mean? I just really need to make a commitment. And that's why even like my podcast, why I came on today, even though I really didn't want to and couldn't have given a fuck if I missed it, is I need to apply that tenacity to myself and stop giving away this extreme, magnificent, I don't even know the words, superpower that I have to others when I should be applying it to myself. And I don't, it's that. Why I can't do that, I don't know. So if you know, shoot me an email at info. Yeah, no, seriously. Send me a motherfucking email at info@thetequilahour.com.au. If you can help me with this, I'm going to call it out to the universe right now. I'm going to, this is it. This shit's getting real. I'm lighting up the Santo. You know when I'm doing that, shit's getting down, all right? I've lit the Santo. It's around the microphone. It's around my road. It's around me. It's everywhere. Oh, God, that's a beautiful smell. If you have never smelt Palo Santo, the wood, I don't know why they do. I don't know what it is. There must be something to it. I don't know what it is. It's beautiful. It's very nice, very calming. Must be some chemical in it. I don't know what the chemical is in it. Maybe I need to think about that. There's something in that. Anyway, yeah, I'm putting it out to the universe, all right? Here in Australia, in New South Wales, in the secret location, which is the Forge, which is actually my house. No, I'm pretty sure I said that before, but, you know. I'm putting it out there to the motherfucking universe, all right? So listen up. If there's anyone out there who can help me, explain to me, guide me, provide assistance as to why I can't use that self-tenacity, that superpower, which is one of my greatest assets, and turn it within, let me know. Truly, let a bitch know. Because, I'm curious. I'm really, like I said, I've touched on a couple of subjects today. I'm pretty sure they're all intertwined and interrelated like a bloody, some ivy around a tree trying to choke it out. That's a vision that I get into my mind when I'm talking about it. It's like, that, I'm trying to think of that plant that's in Australia that's just smothering our coastal trees. Just like a vine, trying to choke out a beautiful tree, basically, and take it over and suck its life out. And I'm just like, come on, It's like I know just by this conversation I've still got a long way to go. And like I said in past podcast episodes, I'm up for it, bitch. I really am up for the whole road, the challenge, the winding road, the path. I'm going over the mountain. I'm going to Mount Fuji. I'm in the volcano. There's a dragon. I'm slaying that bitch. I don't know. I'm up for it. I'm not giving up. That's probably another thing. One of my greatest assets, clearly, determination and not giving the fuck up. But if anyone out there in the universe, anyone who listens to this podcast, and I know there's people who download this podcast, if you're one of these bitches or motherfuckers and you're listening to me right now, well, not right now at 3:38, because you'll hear it tonight. If you've got any I'm open to suggestions. I know I don't have the answers. If I had the answer, I wouldn't be sitting here today and talking about it. I honestly am putting my hand up and I'm surrendering right now. I'm surrendering to the fact that I don't know the answer to this question about why I feel like I can't use that absolute glorious inner strength and say to myself, yeah, Amanda, yeah, you need to look after you and these are the steps you need to do it and you can do this because look at what you've done. But instead, you'd rather distract yourself with all this other shit and dull your emotions with a couple of drinks instead of going to the fucking gym and eating well and going to Japan. So I'm just saying, let a bitch know. Let me know if you know the answer to this. And this could be the lifelong question that I will forever be on the seek for. I don't know. I was going to say I hope it's not, because it shouldn't be this difficult, but it could be. It might be that this might be the hardest thing that I ever have to, go through, understand, work out, and move forward on, is that sense of self and self-worth. I don't know why it's so difficult. I really don't. When intellectually I'm like, pretty sure you know the answer. I know the answer, but I don't. I really don't. And honestly, I'm surrendering. If you can help me, help me. Maybe I'm never going to get the help. I just have to help myself. That's part of it. But anyway, I'm tired of just berating myself and beating myself up. Really am. And yeah, so I look forward to going to the jackal. Could be the jackal. Hope not. Going to the GP. Going to have a mammogram. Starting my Moshi program next week from next Wednesday. So next Wednesday, just so you know, so if you actually care, I do, is the 11th. The 11th of September, okay? That's when I'll be starting the program, because that's when I'll be purchasing the program. So I won't be starting it to probably the Friday. We'll go from there. Yeah. And what did I say? GP, blood test, all that. Mammogram, Moshi, exercise, diet. That's what I need to commit to. Let's talk about that, shall we? Let's talk about that. Commitment. Just told you I have a fitness passport that I pay for every fortnight. It's $50. I don't use it. My husband uses it, but I don't. Okay? So what would you make? Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to write it down. I'm not going to do it right now. I need to focus. I need to focus on what I want to commit to. And I'm going to let you know next week. That's what I'm going to do in my podcast. So let's do that. Let's do that. Shall I commit to that? Next week I'll do a podcast. Next week I'll tell you about Mushy. Next week I'll tell you what I've committed to next week, starting from today. And leave it there, shall we? Let's leave it there. I think we will. I was going to do something in regards to, what do you call it? A sound. But I don't have one. Anyway, so I will actually stop talking. Let me first tell you a couple of things. Let me fill you in. If you enjoyed this podcast, if you have an answer to my lifelong question, let me know. Contact me now. No, send me an email. You can contact me anytime via my email, which is info@thetequilahour.com.au. If you didn't know already, I do have the Tequila Hour Instagram page, which is linked to my own page, which is the _1_ Amanda. Yeah, it's a mouthful, isn't it? They're linked. So just go to the Tequila Hour page and you'll see me linked up. I also do have corresponding YouTube pages as well. I'm not doing any YouTube, I'll be honest with you. That's come and gone. Maybe that might be a goal for next year. I really can't. I can, but I really can't. I can. If I was to say to you that, which I think I've talked about as well on a podcast, that I'll go from zero to hero and then do none of the above, then that would be me committing myself to myself, doing YouTube, doing podcasts, writing a marathon and writing a book. I'm not you know what I'm saying? Oh, and conquering everything I want to do at work. That scared me. Pause. And I'm back. Yeah, it did scare me. That was my husband calling to say he was on his way home. Had a quick convo. And the end. Anyway, like I was saying, I have YouTube, I have Instagram, I have this podcast. I'm sponsored by Buzzsprout. I have a get into it. Sponsored by Epidemic. I'm just spitting out words. I will let you know what happens with my exercise because I need to clearly do that. And I will let you know next week in regards to my Mushy subscription. Mushy? Is it Mushy or Mushy? M-O-S-H-Y. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for those who do continue to listen to this podcast. And I will catch you on the next one. And I'm back for a very short time because I had some trouble with my outro music. So here we go.
Survival, baby, it's hardcore. Cockroaches, hard to kill, hard to ignore. The shadows I explore. Tell me more, tell me more. Cockroach love, it's a dirty affair. Legs intertwined, discuss it with fear. Cockroach creeping up my belly to my throat. She's what I mess up, but we add one more. Look at that cockroach, Jeez, look at that cockroach slipping through my fingers and my toes. I'm a baseball coach when they surround me like the loads. Something I bought, teaching this rhyme, making them a sit to see night and dry. But he's afraid and a fool. I saw it by a bitch with a 3-inch tool. Cockroach love, it's a dirty affair. Legs intertwined, discuss it with fear. Cockroach creeping up my belly to my throat.